Okay, I'm taking screen back and going over to our next discussion point. So we're gonna be entertaining Promethean for a short discussion. But before we do, let's go back to you guys that have joined in and are listening in and hopefully lunching, having your sandwich and your chips or whatever you had for lunch. And I want to have you think about workflow. So, at the heart of the discussion of hybrid logistics, and this is inclusive of motivation, which again is like the biggest issue right now, um, even with kids getting back into school, motivating them to catch up and to, re-engage and all that. It's hard slogging right now nationwide. It's all the data is showing. So I want you to think about workflow, and I want to walk you down this path for a second, and then we're going to have Promethean jump in and share. Workflow in terms of the design of what you do, your work as an educational institution. It sort of starts with the standards, right? Maybe further back from there, it starts with you have buildings, you got to have the heat on, the power, and blah blah blah, and you got to stick people into classrooms and sort of array the troops. And then the next thing you do is you sort of look over at your academic standards. Maybe, maybe it's Common Core, maybe it's something else. Different states have different standards. And then you have some other standards that are propagated by your boards and districts, and things occur. And you sort of look at those, and then you say, as a curriculum director at the district level, you say, okay, we're going to plot our pacing guides. So those normally turn into Google Docs, spreadsheets, or PDFs that are put somewhere in behind the dashboards, like Jeremy was showing, for the staff to pick from. And they're like the math ones and the language ones. And you sort of have to look at those as a teacher, because now it's up to the teacher to do the lesson plan. And you look at those, and then you look over at this other beast, which is your calendar. And it says, we're going to come back to school, but we're going to come back phased. And so that means the middle schoolers, this cohort first, and then these other ones can come in this door in the building, but they have to be 6 feet apart and everybody has to wear masks. And then you have other complications like snow days and, oh, we're back out now because there's been an increase of COVID-19 in our area. And so you're riding a roller coaster over here in calendar land. So here, as a teacher, you're looking at your lesson plan. You're like, I got to teach this stuff. And it says that here I am, a 6th grade math teacher. I have these 3 standards I have to teach within the first 2 weeks on the pacing guide. So I have to look at that document, which is sort of disassociated in the universe. Maybe it's in an LMS, but normally it's not. 90% of them are just documents or spreadsheets. So you're looking over at that, you're looking over at the calendar, and then you got this third part, this little triangle here, this third part, which is I got to do my lesson plan, which is a sequence of things to do. It's maybe a pre-assessment. Normally it's read this, do this. Now it's a lecture and togetherness, and these activities, this questions and post-test. So you've sort of set that up. And maybe you didn't lay it out that far in advance. So you're sort of catching up every other weekend by planning out your next 2 weeks. That doesn't happen in the online world. The online world sort of like lays down their map. But the workflow going on in education right now is really rough because the schedules are flexible, the cohorting, the who's in, who's out. It's manifesting a quantum leap change in how you have to try to get your act together to plan all the way down at the lesson level. So we're going to talk about that. I want you to sort of formulate your questions and your comments on that right now, because this is the heart of what's going on in education. It's a problem of logistics. So I'm going to invite Promethean on to have an interlude first, but be thinking of your questions because I'm coming at you. So Caiti Jones and Arthur Nelson are with us. You guys want to be camera on, mic on, share with us?
Yeah, I will. I'm Caiti Jones. Nice to see you. I'm going to just share my slides here so that we can have some
and I'm going to turn my camera off. I see your slides and I'm going to be camera and mute until you're done.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much for having us, and thanks again for passing that over. As I mentioned, my name is Caiti Jones. I am an education consultant from Promethean. So that means it's a fancy term for a former educator who now delivers professional development, training, and really helping our end users using our product. But spending 5 years in the elementary setting, and then now years in the professional development realm, I really feel for our teachers and our educators and our admin right now during this time of change. Now, at Promethean, we are that partner. We really do have global reach, but local support during all of this time, especially with our transition to digital learning and that hybrid curriculum that we're starting to look at. We have been around for over 20 years during that time in almost 2 million classrooms worldwide, but we really do have our heart in education, and everything we do comes back to that initial love for education. I know right now, this year has been a time of reimagining what school looks like for your districts, for each individual site, and for each individual student. How are they receiving their lessons? What tools do the classrooms have to help these students access the curriculum? And how are we going to make this an equitable act for all of our students? I know that every site is different with what technology is being used and what tools are at your disposal. And really, all that matters is using that technology to reach our students and to help bridge this gap in education right now with our new transition. I just want to show you our hybrid learning model that we have been using here at Promethean, using our new panels and using the tools that we have in front of us, whether that is Google Meet or Teams or a different video conferencing platform, using our Classroom and Drive and all of those online cloud-based storage, and using the Promethean whiteboard or tools, software, or other software as well to bring all of these things together to reach our students. Now, at Promethean, we do have comprehensive professional development resources for all sites and all schools. Whether or not you are a current Promethean user, we do have support for you. So at this website, prometheanworld.com/learn, we have online courses focused on hybrid learning and remote learning. We have our ClassFlow free online software that is all web-based for students to use or teachers to use during this time. Our arsenal of education consultants like myself, there are over 30 of us nationwide who are all former educators who can assist with any questions. Whether or not you are a current Promethean user, we are here to help and support during this transition to hybrid learning. We also offer 2 days every year of free professional development. Our Camp Promethean is coming up in July, and our STEAM Forward event happens in November. Everyone is welcome to join us on these days and learn more about our products and see how these products are used every day in classrooms, whether the students are in person or learning virtually. I know we're running out of time, but the last thing I want to leave you here with today is our online demos. We do online demos every Monday and Tuesday. They are live. They are customized specifically for you and your needs. We can give you a tour of the panels and talk about how this can be used in your setting, especially with this hybrid learning model. So this can also be found on our Promethean World website. And thank you so much to everyone for allowing us some time to speak, and I'll pass it back over. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we're back. This is Leilani, and thank you, Caitlin and Arthur. Arthur, did you want to say hi? We haven't heard your voice.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Leilani. Thanks for having us. We're enjoying these sessions. And thank you, Caiti, for your presentation. So as Caiti mentioned, Promethean a lot of our products are device agnostic, and what a lot of what we do is we support our educators with a lot of our resources and with professional development. So go to our website if anybody's interested in learning more about what we do, www.prometheanworld.com, and we'd be happy to just spend a little bit more time with you and talking about how we're working with other districts and how we're supporting other districts with their hybrid learning and their remote learning environment.
Cool. And I have to admit, Caiti and Arthur, I jumped out and ran to do things while you were talking early on. So then I jumped back in, right? Because I had like 3 minutes, because now I got to go for like an hour and a half. But I wanted to bring this up. I am hearing from a lot of districts that now the being onlineness needs to move up from talking head to more of a performance art. So there's teachers taking their boards home, or they're like rallying the principals, like, I'm going to take this home. I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to go take it out of my classroom, take it home. Are you hearing the same thing? For
Yes.
teachers that were remote?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have worked with teachers who are working either from home or working from their classroom, just them in the classroom with their boards, with their panels. And we have worked to show them how you can really teach a full lesson on the panel, but the students at home are viewing every step of the way. And it makes it a great experience for those students rather than the talking head.
Yeah, so much more dynamic.